first and foremost, just wanted to thank everybody for the, coming in today and kind of, chatting. I love to have it more engaging. So it's like you have questions, don't hesitate to say, hey, I have a question, cut me off, or if there's something you want to talk about. I think it's way better to have more like a roundtable discussion versus up here just, hey, let's talk about this and this. So if there's something specific you guys want to talk about, let's talk about it. So we're more than happy to go off topic as well. So the topic I think we brought today is kind of talking about security under one fabric, right? And what does that mean? So before we kind of dive into that, so let's talk about the current trends and market drivers today that you guys are seeing. So anybody want to, volunteer like what trends or market drivers you guys are dealing with today outside of anyone? Got gifts to give away for those who want to tell.
Cyber insurance requirements like protection.
Perfect. Absolutely. So the current drivers and market drivers and landscape that we're seeing today is around these things, that work from anywhere, right? After COVID, it kind of changed our dynamic, right? So a lot of us were working remotely. We are now coming back into the office, right? We still have that hybrid type of thing, and people are working from anywhere. We have that digital acceleration, the journey to the cloud for those who are putting more things in the cloud, right? What does that look like? And then, of course, the landscape as it always evolves, right? How are we protecting those risks, right? How are we protecting against those bad actors? Those are our current drivers that we're seeing today, along with others, such as like the cybersecurity. A lot of people Kevin and I were having a conversation yesterday that some people are doing more private insurance versus because they can't get cybersecurity insurance because of so much damage that has been done the last couple of years, all the cyber criminals that are out there. So with that being said, I added other stuff to it. Ding, ding. So what does that mean to us as companies, organizations, right? What does your network look like, right? It's complex, right? Any of you guys here have a non-complex network, right? Guarantee you're all working with someone that are working remotely. They're working from here, or you're moving applications to the cloud, or you have multiple vendors and they don't talk to one another, right? So these are the challenges that we're seeing today. Too many vendors, too many silos, and things are everywhere, whether it's cloud, on-prem, or what, and what direction are we going. So complexity is definitely a problem. Which brings us to the topic we are bringing today, right? So what does the ideal security architecture look like, right? Back in the day, best of breed was the way to go, right? That's the way everybody said we needed to do. You needed something, you had a gap, best of breed, right? Gartner is now saying that cybersecurity mesh architecture is the best way to go. So for you guys, what's the best way to go, right? What's the correct answer to that? Well, I know the answer, right? Here's the answer. You ready? It depends. It really does. It depends on your infrastructure. It depends on your network, right? It depends where are your users located, right? If you're a small company, you have one office and you have 5 people in that office, it doesn't matter. If you have the staff to manage, right? If it talks to one another. So it really kind of depends what's best for each environment. However, with that being said, there's disadvantages and advantages for each architecture, right? Whether you choose that best of breed or you choose that consolidated approach where you have just a few vendors in your network, right? Some of as you can see from my slide, you can probably see here where I agree more to that one platform approach, right? So you can see what are the advantages of that platform approach versus what are the disadvantages of that best of breed, right? So guys, today, let's pick on somebody. How many vendors do you have in your network today? Sure. Too many to count, right? 30, right? Is it easy to manage? No. Do they talk to one another? No. Do you have a lot of staff to help you manage that complexity? So see, for my recommendation for you then would be to clearly move to a consolidated approach, right? So best of breed, it's too many vendors, too many silos, right? You would think with that many products, you need something, there's a hole, we'll just put a product there and it's going to fill that gap. It doesn't though. You may have some overlapping, but it really doesn't fill the gaps. So what's the advantage of that platform approach, right? What are those advantages here? Reduce complexity. Is it going to be, am I going to tell you moving to a consolidated approach where there's just a few vendors in there? Is it me telling you, oh, it's going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? It's going to be not complex at all. I would be lying to you, right? Because no, it's still going to be complex. Every network is, right? There's no way around it. However, it's going to be less complex, right? It's going to be more simplified. Be able to manage your stack a lot easier than it would, as well as integrate, right? You have a couple different tools, couple different vendors work to integrate, trying to integrate 30 plus vendors to all to talk to one another. Not every vendor will like to play nice, right? Like, nope, don't have anything to talk. And of course, think about the cost, the advantage of going from vendors or platform approach. Cost, you don't have to worry about on 30 different vendors. And are they really working or not? So our answer, my answer, advantage. We absolutely agree with with Gartner's cybersecurity mesh architecture, right? So do you guys follow Gartner at all? Yep. So for the last the last year now, right, Kevin? They have been promoting that that cybersecurity mesh architecture, what they're recommending. What we here at Fortinet have been doing that for 20 years. We just call it fabric. We call it the fabric security under one. They really the security fabric, right? They're not saying they're pitching Fortinet. They can't, right? But we've been doing that mesh for 20 years, since inception, over 20 years, right? So our answer to that security question is need one platform approach. Our answer is that approach. And when I say one platform, I don't mean Fortinet everything. Happy to help with that if you'd like. Might be a great fit, might not. But there's so much out there that we don't use. But that one platform. So our answer is secure networking, that cybersecurity platform, and then OT-aware security. Anybody here today work in a manufacturer, oil and gas, stuff? Couple. When we're talking OT, different protocols, right? So standard, what I like to call it the corporate side of the network, off remote. Your manufacturing facilities, SCADA environment, that's your cement side of the business. Traditionally, it was completely separate, right? However, the OT side of things now needs to talk to the IT. So we need to talk about, so how do we add that OT into that IT, right? We start that with that security, that secure network. Think about it, firewalls, security. When we talk about switching, when we talk about LAN, WAN infrastructure, APs, wireless, that's all network, right? There's really no security wrapped around it. So we can start that convergence, that platform approach, by convergence of security and network. So what we can do is we can actually wrap security around your network edge. So you can apply security policies and procedures down to your network stack, to your switching, to your AP. Right? How great it would be like you could have a switch that actually was smart enough to make sure that, hey, no threats are coming through, right? Or could remediate action. Feel free. I can talk. Kevin, jump. So in a nutshell, if you take a look at this slide, it's kind of like, these are the products, the solutions from Fortinet that kind of help with that secure networking, that cybersecurity platform, and that OT-aware security, right? So what is it? Secure networking, we're talking about your switching, like I talked about WAN, wireless, ZTNA, NAC, SaaS, you're moving to a cloud type deployment. SASE's all the rave right now. I think every year, whether we come here or to any other show, there's always a buzzword. What was it last year? ZTNA has been a buzzword for the last couple words. Zero trust, zero trust, zero trust, right? SASE is a big word, but that's going to be in that secure networking stack. In the cybersecurity platform, that's where we're talking our SIM, our SOAR, right? Our EDR, that endpoint detection response type of thing. And then our OT-aware security for those who have manufacturing, right? How do we get threat intelligence or bad actors to stay away from those PLCs that are on your manufacturer, right? Because they're not traditionally connected to IT. I don't know about you guys. I've been around for a little bit. I'm only 35 with like dozen years of experience or so. But I remember that they didn't want to talk to one another, right? Like OT, don't touch my stuff. IT, no, I don't want to talk to you. Things have changed, right? So you add new robots to manufacturing facilities, you add even the oil and gas areas, you add new gas pumps, right? It's all Ethernet based. Now it has to talk. But guess what? IT doesn't talk SCADA. They don't talk Modbus. They don't talk. How do you get that work together? OT. We here at Fortinet, we actually do specific IPS definitions for OT environment to make sure that that cement side of the business is protected, right? So convergence of that networking security OT, right here, just for an example, the convergence benefits of applying security down to your network edge, right? Here it says reduce complexity. Oh my goodness, the word. Less complex, right? Less complex. I like that. Makes me good. More efficient. No, seriously, it does. And then that end-to-end, right? So these are the benefits of that secured convergence of your security and network, right? I don't know, there's some of you I'm familiar with. You guys are that I know that you guys are familiar with Fortinet, right? So one thing that I've always said is what's that one great thing about Fortinet? For those who are not familiar with Fortinet, what's the one great thing that I like to say about Fortinet is how great would it be for you and your teams to manage from your firewall down to your port level of your switch, down to your AP, and make changes especially when you have small teams, right? You don't have to worry about, I'm gonna pick on Cisco because they're my neighbor in the trade show out there. So let's pick on Cisco, right? So if you have Cisco firewalls, you have Catalyst, Cisco switches, and we're gonna pick on Ruckus and get Ruckus AP, right? You need to change configuration on your Cisco firewalls in one place. You gotta change your AP configuration, you gotta go to Ruckus. Now you wanna do your Cisco Catalyst switches. You can't go through your firewall. You have to go different management tool, right? How great would it be, ease of simplified management when you do that everything from one window, does everything down to the port level. That's what we're talking about convergence. So you're able to do it from a single pane of, and then you're able to get security policies and profiles down to the network. That has traditionally never been there. So here, as an example, this is an example of a secure networking journey of a customer, right? Yeah, so the convergence of network security across the WAN, LAN, SD-WAN, ZTNA, and SASE, right? This is kind of what it looks like, right? So it doesn't matter if you have remote users, it doesn't matter if you have some applications in the cloud, it doesn't matter where they're sitting. It enables that networking per device, per location, per user, right? So it's able to give you that journey across. Now, here is for those OT environments. I don't know why I put this automation. This is annoying. So that cyber physical aware security fabric, specifically around the OT environment, right? So for those of you who are familiar manufacturing, right? This kind of represents, on the left side, it kind of represents that Purdue model, right? people who are familiar with that industrial market, whether you're in oil and gas manufacturing, whether you're in ICU of a hospital, they kind of follow that Purdue model. It's very respected, right? But this is how you can extend that with those IPS signatures, those specific protocols around that side of the network. It's no longer keeping the carpet and the cement side separate. They all have to talk. So to that age-old question, right? Best of breed, 30 plus vendors, or a platform approach? Fortinet's answer, my answer, is a platform approach. And this is what it looks like, right? This is the Fortinet security fabric. So taglines are broad, integrated, and automated. And what does that mean, right? So what makes Fortinet, right? Outside of the lovely socks that if you haven't grabbed them yet, besides our lovely naming conventions of all of our products, you need switch, the Forti switch. You need an AP, it's the 48. You want NAC, Fortinet. So anything's 40 and right? But what this really means is that we here at Fortinet, we build everything holistic from the ground up, the same operating system that enables you to get you that convergence of security and networking, that gives you that automation, that gives you that integration, right? It's naturally holistically integrated because it uses the same operating, right? You don't have to worry about it not talking to your firewall, not talking to your switch, or not talking to your AP, or not talking to your EDR solution because it's the same code. And this is what this is what we've been doing for 22, or a little over 22 years. I'm telling you, here's me. I may be an account manager I have quite a bit of technology experience, technical enough to be dangerous, right? But if I can figure out how to configure my firewall at my home, along with my switch and my APs and even the outdoor APs in the backyard so I can get Wi-Fi in the pool during the summer, I can do it. Who's not a trained technical professional, it's going to make people's lives so much easier who have that knowledge when they utilize that one platform. Additionally, what makes us different is not many vendors keep their system open. Right. Once again, I'm going to pick on my Cisco guys right next to me in the show, right? So everything's proprietary. They lock it down. Nope, can't use anybody else's SFPs. You can't do this. It's all proprietary. They want you to pay for theirs only, and they will charge you for it, right? We truly here believe to have that one platform approach to consolidate, make things less complex for you. We here are not going to be the answer for everything, right? And we are absolutely going to help where we can. But if we're not the answer for everything, there's other vendors that are out there, right? They can do the job for you. So what we do is we keep our ecosystem open. So we connect. We have connectors built to tie into your existing infrastructure. We absolutely 100% believe if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? If it works, keep it. Let's just add security around it, right? So we have connectors and partners in place where we actually tie into to give you automation, to give you integration. We have over 500 different security partners, what we like to call fabric-ready partners, where we have APIs or connectors built to give you automation, the tools that you are utilizing now that work, right? Can't say that for any other vendors. You think, now I'm going to pick on Checkpoint. You think Checkpoint's going to connect to Fortinet, be like, here, yeah, we'll share this? No, we do it though. We do it we do it for you guys to make sure things run smooth. So at the end of the day, you don't need to pick when it comes to what we believe here at Fortinet and what we're providing to our customers. You don't need to pick best of breed or a one platform approach because you get them both. You get best of breed products in that one platform approach right out the box, right? You look at Gartner, you look at Forrester, you kind of do your research when it comes to different products. We've been the recommended firewall for 9+ years running enterprise grade. We have been the recommended leader on SD-WAN since inception, right? Number one vendor, right? Same thing goes for mail, endpoint, email, security. We are a best of breed manufacturer. But what makes us different is it's consolidated one platform, one operating system. So you can have the best of both, right? Less complexity, less silos, easier integration, automation, and you get the best of one platform. So I threw up the Gartner Magic Quadrant. First one was on our SIM, SOAR, EDR type things. This one is firewall, obviously wireless in our WAN, LAN infrastructure, right? Now, we are best of breed when it comes to firewalls, SD-WAN, a few things like you will see we are, I think, a challenger or a visionary in our wireless and LAN infrastructure. But once again, best of breed, one platform approach, all in a single. Like I said, we have lots and lots of products. They may not be the best for everybody, but we will make sure we can tie into the ones that are the best, right? Because every network is different, right? I can't say what's great for my lab, my home, very distributed edge, right? Bunch of APs. Right? But my environment is completely different than yours or yours, right? So even though we have quite a few products, one platform approach, it may not be the best need for your particular environment, but we will help direct you to a vendor that can help consolidate. So you have those 2 to 3 vendors in there so that you can hit that compliance button when it comes to cybersecurity insurance, right? So you can hit that, check that box saying, yep, I am a manufacturer and I support the federal government, so I have to have those CMMC requirements. Does Fortinet do that? Sure do. Here's how you check those boxes. So it's easier to get those cybersecurity, and you have that endpoint detection. So in a nutshell, here's me. And look at, once again, as a woman, I did all the talking. No wonder we have stereotypes. So here is what we like to call our cybersecurity placemat, right? Kind of like what makes Fortinet Fortinet. Once again, I know the screen from my view, it looks a little weird, but it's everything on here is the same operating system, right? That one platform approach. Whether you are needing zero trust from a NAC solution, or whether you're needing that security-driven networking, like from a switch or an AP or a 5G failover stuff, same operating system. To our SOC center, whether you need a SaaS or type of solution. What makes us us is we make everything holistic from the ground up. Need together. Question. Come on. I'm gonna make you guys talk. Here's me. So I did all the talking. I didn't even let Kevin talk. Here. So how would I do this? Here, I'm gonna let you hold this. We gotta make Kevin look it. Come on. Yeah, 15 minutes. Yeah.
Did anything strike your interest?
Let's make
what was
Kevin
talked?
work. Bad. What do you want? What do you want to see? So Kevin's got a lab up. He can show you a GUI. You want to see what the switches look like? FortiManager. You want to see what FortiManager looks like? Okay. Question. FortiManager is a beast. I'm going to tell you this right now. FortiManager is absolutely a beast. One thing I want to recommend is anybody who is utilizing Fortinet now or looking at Fortinet, keep in mind, just because every feature is there doesn't mean turn it on, right? We give you so much stuff. You guys are laughing. Did you turn it all on and then wonder what the heck?
I'll say next question.
Yeah. We put so many features in there for free. It's not extra licensing. So like you're using SD-WAN, not an extra license, it's included with the gate, right? So just because we have all the features in there specifically, doesn't mean turn them all on. Get your network up and running and then start playing with them, right? Seeing how things work, right? So we have, Kevin's gonna show you FortiManager. Here we go.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm gonna give you your Forti present.
Three-year.
Oh, that's really fuzzy. But I was going to go through and just kind of level set before we get to FortiManager, because I just want to show you a couple of things I was talking about. This board that I capable of all the threat app control, ID, web filter, SSL, getting about 1 point. But as you can see up here in this shows firewall. Or to stand cloud, prim and a VM. So then that way, if we see something coming across, either from the client or across the traffic, we can actually put it up there, run it against FortiGuard intelligence to make sure that, we'll exploit the file, look at, if it's a weaponized Excel sheet or a Java or something like that, we'll look at it, see if it's doing anything bad, calling home or exploding. We can look at that and then we can isolate that or, destruct that file, right? So it will be passed along with our FortiMail. We have FortiManager, which you want to see. We also even have our Forti switches, our Forti APs that I have in here. We have FortiMonitor, which we can actually look at the performance of what's going on in the network, plus we can bring in other devices like EXI devices. We can look at applications. It's almost what's going on in your network and a little bit stronger from that standpoint. We have FortiDeceptor, which is kind of like post-breach detection or just an alarm. So basically we're setting up all these, what we call lures across your network. If I have 5 doors here and only one of them works, and how do we make sure that somebody's not rattling that door, looking in that window, trying to see what they can get to? No one should hit those devices, so as soon as they do, it eliminates the false positives and really brings in the standpoint of, I need to go check this out. So I can watch them, see what tactics and techniques they're using to move across my network laterally, and then I can isolate them and hopefully pin them down before they detonate some type of ransomware or something that's going to lock everybody out. But as you can see, they're all part of this, what we call the Fortinet security fabric, right? So they all talk together from that standpoint. When we bring in the other pieces here, when I look at my managed APs, now I can look and see what APs I have actually in my network. I can see the SSIDs. I can see how many clients are attached, right? What channels? How is that all working? I can actually even see my Wi-Fi clients, who's all connected, right? If I wanted to create another SSID, I can create an SSID. I can push it to a certain AP from this screen, right? So I haven't left this. I haven't gone to a wireless controller to do anything. I've done this all within the gate. Same thing with my Forti switches, right? So I can see all the switches that are sitting out in my network that are connected. I can go out here and create my VLAN policy or VLAN scheme, right? So I have 1 VLAN, 10 VLANs, whatever it might be. Some of these are default, especially if you're going to be looking at NAC, right? To give you additional visibility, make sure people are actually allowed on your network, not allowed on your network, however that might be. So I can set all these, and then I can actually go to the ports on my switches. I can click the right button. So now I can see the different switches that are out here. Now, if I want to change this port, I can see this is just the default link. It's actually got another switch attached to it. Let me pick something that I'm not going to take completely down, but I can just right click on it and I can have all my VLANs. And now maybe I want to put a deception lure on this one. So now I put that VLAN on there. So now that could be there. It could be my voice VLAN. It could be my data net VLAN. Whatever it might be, I can set that from here and do multiples of those. So I can do that. Plus I can actually go into allowed VLANs. So if I'm tagging anything, I can actually tag the VLANs and put them over here in the allowed. Plus it gives me an idea of what devices are there. So I can see that I have a couple 40 APs, 431s on that port, another 431F on another port. I have.
It was kind of cool, right? Do all that from one screen.
Yeah, as soon as that one I changed, it's going to change that port. So I could highlight multiple ports. Like if I wanted to highlight all these and make them VLAN 10, I could do that and it'd propagate them all to those VLANs on the switches because they're all connected via our FortiLink. No, because the FortiGate that I'm running right here is one of our newest APs, or FortiGates, I'm sorry. And it's running 7012 code. My switches are all running 741 some code, so no, they do not. As long as because we can still manage it. So they are backward and forward compatible. Okay. Yes.
Your
Yeah.
50 plus gates are the configured similar for location, right? So FortiManager is great for bulk configuration. So it's if you have a consistent policy and you push them out to all of them, you need to. That's a great thing. It doesn't work so you have specific policies or configurations per location, it's all different. It may not be the best, right? But for if you're doing a lot of bulk provisioning out the door, absolutely.
So in FortiManager, this was kind of the gates, right? So that was how I'd manage everything. This is FortiManager. In your case, what I've got here is I had to back rev because of my 91G. Is it 702 code? I did have it run in 7.4 on FortiManager. What you would do at that point is there are different ADOMs. That was command line. There is an ADOM window right here that I can create different ones. So I could run a 7.4, 7.2, and then they would manage those devices that were within that gate parameter, right? So from FortiManager, now, in your case, I got 50. Let's just say I got 20 and 7.2 and 30 and 7.4. They're going to be into those different ADOMs, right? But the nice thing about that is I can see here I have like an 81F and I have a 91G. They're all here. I can look at the ports. I can see what the contract is. I can see when they expire. If I wanted to actually click on more, I can actually look at the interfaces. So if I look at the network, so now I can see how what networks are configured on that FortiGate. So now I can change. Maybe I need to change this IP address from 192.168 to a 172.16 or whatever it might be. I can change that and make those configuration changes from here. Same thing from the policies and objects. So if I bring this is a firewall policy that I have built that's been imported. So now if I wanted to add a new address from a destination, or I wanted to change my web filtering to allow something that I've seen that I need to block, I can make this change and push it to one or multiple FortiGates within my system. I'm sorry? With that ADOM, right. So it's going to be everything that's like, if I made a change and I could push it right now to these two. Let's say I had a 200 and something else sitting in that 7.4, then I would have to go over there and push that, right? So it's trying to make sure, because even though the interfaces look exactly the same, because if I went back to that 91G and then I went to my 81, which is 7.4, they're going to look identical. There are some changes in the data streams and sets, so it's kind of hard to just say, hey, blindly push it. But I can also even change the firewall policy. Within here also, I have my switches, so I can look at the switches that we're seeing. They're out here. Hopefully they'll pull in. It should. It's an older code, newer one, but it should list all the FortiGate or the Forti switches that I have within my environment. The thing there is that if I have a FortiGate and it has 5 switches attached to it in that remote location, I can't manage each one of those ports remotely from here, but I can set up a scheme and do that, right? So it's a policy. I have to go back to the FortiGate to change those. We have the APs. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Kevin. I know that we had 45 minutes, so I wanted to get other people if they wanted to see. So if they have initiatives, come on, I have to give away. If you have initiatives you want to give away, or
Could you, one with the view plans on this?
Yeah.
Can you create that? Does that create a random policy somewhere where you manage it?
Yeah, so if, let's say I went and pushed all those VLANs out to a switch, and then all of a sudden I didn't do anything in my policy, they're not going anywhere, right? So I do have to revert back. Pull one of these back up. Pull this.
wanted to make sure I got your question too, because we're running out of time. So
In the FortiGate firewall, would be geographic.
Yes, it can.
absolutely.
So I'll show you right here on one of my policies that I have for that. And this one has a bigger one.
So absolutely. So probably just to make
Yeah.
sure that I have it correct, like geo-caching, right? It can be based by per user per location.
Correct.
Right, you can be very, very, great thing about Fortinet is you can be very, very granular on what you want to do, block it per location, per user. They tell me I can't go on Facebook on my personal laptop and my work laptop anymore because Andrea quit updating. Okay, fine, or just use my personal one for that. We can get that granular.
Is FortiManager, is that SaaS? Is it an appliance? Is it a software? What is?
You're right. However you want it. It can be a virtual, so run in your own V environment locally in KVM, ESXi. It could be up in GCP, Azure, and it can also be what we call FortiManager Cloud, which is we take care of all the care and feeding. All you do is add the devices in there and take care of it. You don't have to worry about. Yeah, as long as you got a license for each one of those gates, you're going to model up there, you're good. So, yes, and so if you do FortiManager, VM, Cloud, or GCP, Azure, if you're going to SaaS model, then it's a matter of, at that point, having, if I have a 60, I need a 60 license. If I have an 80, I got to have an 80 license.
And that's an 80.
Correct. For that gate, each gate that you're going to put up there. Cloud license,
Yeah,
correct.
cloud. Yeah. If it's FortiManager on-prem, or VM, but not the cloud, right? It doesn't matter. It's licensed per device. So you could have 100 switches connected to that gate, and you just count the gate for the license. So it goes in devices. So like 1 to 10, you can 20 how many devices you just add the license. But the cloud, it would be a little different. Change it a little bit.
So in this policy, I'll pull up right here, you can see in the front, I do have geofencing. It's destination, I have bad countries. I just threw in, the old axis of evil, those bad countries, and then added some others, right? Just so I can get some feedback on Like some of our stuff goes to Ireland, a lot goes to Canada. I had to open up Canada. I tried to block everybody but the US. So just to get some alerts, right? So we can get that capability from that. So you can set those up. You can actually even do services, right? So if I know I don't want Adobe or I don't want OneDrive, I can set up my application control to only allow OneDrive and stop Google Drive and whatever else might be up. I can set
the
them.
geolocation, can you do it by, like, say, Guadalajara, okay, but the rest of Mexico? Or is it
Strictly by the whole country. Yeah, because it's, what is it, the IATA that issues the IP addresses that we're running off of that. So it's kind of hard to say that IP address came from Guatemala and not Mexico City, because that's issued for all of Mexico, right?
So, great question. So Kevin, question for you. So geocaching, so all of Mexico can't go through, but you have a vendor in Mexico. Could you then set another policy to allow access for that one IP address for that person to get?
Yes.
So even though you may be able to block the whole country, if you do business in that country, you can allow them to certain access. Right. So there's that double caveat. It's kind of like that zero trust, right? So it's like, nope, they don't want anybody trusted from Mexico except for you. As long as you do X, Y, and Z, you'll give them access. Anybody else got a question? Well, we've got like probably 35 seconds.
Yeah.
How about DNS?
Yes, here we go.
DNS analyzing.
Do you like I told you some are not good. So, well, I'm going to make you read anyway. Here, if you're ready to read, and then you control this at your call.
So we do have DNS filtering, right? So, and it's not so much from, we do have through FortiGuard services know from an IP reputation, right? So, but we also have here where you can go, like say this adult mature content, we're monitoring. Monitoring means we're going to actually log what we're seeing. So if someone went to an adult site or a gambling site, it's going to be allowed, but we're going to monitor that, right? But the thing is, all of a sudden somebody goes to a domain that's being fronted by some bad country or whatever it might be, or someone's done something. We're going to actually know that that reputation isn't the right DNS setting or the DNS that should be coming back, and we'll block it from even starting to load the web page, right? So that's the different ones you have here. You have your antivirus, where we're going to look at what's known coming through. We're actually going to do web filtering across those. And the thing is, you can set up multiples, right? So we have default. I always say clone the default, make changes, name it what you want, and then you can apply it to different policies, right? So if you had HR, maybe they're allowed to go to LinkedIn, but does payroll need to go to LinkedIn? Maybe not, right? So I'm going to block them. Or in Andrea's case, we let her go to Facebook only, but she can't like anything, right? So that's kind of what, we can get very granular to how you want to. We can get complex, but we also bring back, and this is the other piece about it, is we have the analytics that I can look at. You can see here I have multiple well, it's kind of hard, but there's multiple gates that are listed here. I have my one up in Azure, I have an 80, I have my 91. Let's just do them all here. And once I bring this data in for the last hour, I can see all that traffic, right? So if I wanted to pick on something in here, I can get further into it. It'll show me, the application, the session. If I want to dig in deeper, it'll bring it further down. It'll show me it was all denied. I can keep going deeper, and this will actually show me the source, the destination, the action that was taken, so I'm denying it. So some firewall policy hit it. It'll tell me which policy ID that was hit and denied this, or allowed it, however you want to do it, right? So I can see that I can get a lot of information within our analyzer. And that's kind of where, you know, you can get it individually, but we can also bring it into, I'm looking at the whole bucket. What's the company doing? And then I can go to a resource site to break that out.
So to kind of wrap everything together for you guys here is like that.
I didn't get to talk as much as you. Wait a second.
We're out of time because I talked too much.
I'm just.
Good job.
We're kind of wrap it all together is like your guys' approach, whether you want to do a best of breed approach or a platform approach. We're not here to tell you one's better than the other, right? Every network is different. We're just here to show you that this is why we here at Fortinet like that one platform where you can consolidate to a couple of different vendors. It makes it for you guys. It makes it easy for us. We utilize our own stuff, right? Because we make it easy to manage, easy to simplify, and we just want to share that. So when you guys are making having those conversations of what's the best, you have a gap. Rather than throwing another vendor or another product in your network, take a look to see what you can consolidate and converge, whether it be with a Fortinet product or a different product. It's all about making things more simplified and easier for you. But with that, thank you for your time, and we're still here for a couple hours, so if you want 10 minutes, go